tax agent. Another big question people ask is what training? Okay, I've set up a business. What do I do? Sure, accounting software. Because we get wholesale prices, the majors, QuickBooks and Xero, always contact us. They sponsor our conference. We get wholesale discounts, all online, all training. So we have great support. You know, I have a national manager and all those three who look after and support us. One of our big processes, and it's probably my life story of when I was running my accounting firms, was advising businesses how to improve their cash. As bookkeepers and accountants, I know we're always talking to clients and say, hey, your BAS is due. I can see you haven't got enough money in the bank. You need to go and find some. And typically the first action would be go and chase your debtors up, or get some finance or increase your sales or something like that. So what we've developed, I've developed is a 15 module, and we call it a cash flow advisor, where we talk about 6 cash drivers, and you get rewarded accordingly. So you'll have a bookkeeping contract and you'll have a cash flow management, talking about setting up a budget, measuring your financials on 6 cash drivers. So that's an internal training program that we've developed using our, it's real life case studies, it's templates, it's documents, how to do it. No doubt about it, every day of the week, every second of the day, you got to be thinking about marketing. And it's not sales, it's about marketing. Marketing is solving a solution. We do have online training programs. We do have a measurement. There's 61 actions that you need to do to get clients personally. We'll help and support you at initial training. It's always about talking to your prospects, as Michael said, goes to BNI, goes to Chamber of Commerce. You don't expect to get clients going there, but it's about communicating, networking. You've got to touch them 6 to 10 times these days to get a client. You know, we get some download information from clients who want to know about cash flow. It's on our website. Download this information. It might take us 6 to 8 months before they pick the phone up. So it's a long process, but I suppose joining gyms it gets you there quicker. That's the thing. And I've got lots of case studies with franchisees. If you want to get yourself here, get yourself quicker.
I think there's actually a statistic that the failure rate of small business is less when you're part of a franchise group than if you go it alone.
Correct. We do have failures. I think we're about a 12% in our franchise, in our group, 12% failure rate. Going alone, big as 50% in the first year and 70% as you go. I think the main thing about the training we offer, sure, we're bookkeepers, accountants, and cash flow advisors. But number one, we're doing this because we're running a business. And the personal things of running a business is satisfaction, legacy, time off, family involvement. Like Michael, I'm a second generation accountant. I worked with my father's accounting firm. I now have got my son and my daughter working in my business as the divisional. But the training we offer is how to actually run a business. And yeah, it could be lawn mowing, it could be selling pens, it could be selling phones, whatever you're selling, it's the same process to have a sustainable business. And we talk about 90-day plans, we talk about marketing plans, we talk about where do you want to be? And do you want to run an empire or do you just want to run a small business? That's up to yourself. So the training we offer is specifically to run a sustainable business. Next big question I always get asked is, how do you charge? We've got an online training program, 9 modules about pricing for profit. I cannot fix the price. I cannot tell you what model to use. Michael, pricing.
Fixed price all up front unless I can't scope it out, and then in which case I'll say it's priced at X rate per hour with an initial deposit, and then the balance is payable at the end. All my proposals are done via a system called Practice Ignition, so it's all automated.
So explain what you mean by Practice Ignition. Maybe that case that you had the regional come into the other week.
Yeah, so Practice Ignition is a piece of engagement software that is it's for our industry, and basically you can generate your proposals through there and you can collect your billing through there. So it's recurring. So I just work off like a monthly subscription model. To give you an example, like my senior manager here, it would take them close to like a day between creating the proposal, issuing the proposal, coming back, deploying it on their workflow system. I can do that within a couple hours. And so once the proposal is accepted, the billing's automatic, it issues the invoices, collects the payment, deploys it into my workflow manager, sets up the jobs and tasks, and then my team will go in and start to schedule the dates for those tasks.
And most importantly, get the engagement letter or agreement signed.
It's all done and signed. I don't have to, it's all digital. There's copies there. The
Michael,
schedule.
let me butt in. Sorry, that's where you are now.
That's where I am now. Yeah, I still
Where
have
were you
copies.
18 months ago? I remember discussing pricing with you.
I was probably, we were still undercharging, and I've still got copies of the Word document that I would have to manually edit every single time. When I first came on board, I didn't even have a workflow system, so good luck tracking what needed to be completed. Yeah, I pretty much implemented about 5 pieces of software within a year.
And that's the process. We're not saying when you first start off is go get all this because it's just overload of software. That's a process of run a sustainable business is get it to run itself so you can be the person that's going to run the vision, run the clients. And those. So pricing is a crucial part. Lots of apps. Again, as a large reputable business, we get all these apps come to us, and there's 1,000 of them keep coming to us. And of course, you know, Receipt Bank, HubDoc, Profit C, they're all of the regular ones that we make sure we run live bookkeeping. We do get wholesale prices for them too. Training, annual conference. Michael, you were at our last annual conference last year, or this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're at the Gold Coast. Our MC, who is Mike Devonport from head office, always comments and says, when he tells them at head office, I'm going to a bookkeeping and tax conference, people will say, why would you want to do that? That is boring. They don't know how to have a good time. Let me tell you, he's changes his mind. He goes back, and we've got some videos on. I'm not going to show that today, but we are a little bit alternative. We have some extroverts in our group that will go way over here, and we have an introvert through here. But most importantly, it's about having fun, getting some education, and most importantly, our major sponsors come along, and you network with them. Like one of the apps, Michael, Profit C, you networked with James and become personal. Same with the MyOb and QuickBook Zero guys. You just get personal with the decision makers, and you can make decisions. So annual conference. Other training is about our pitch. We call that our elevator, our discussion. How do you talk to people? I know in our initial training, when it very first started, I sit down and say, guys, what do you do? Everybody says, I'm a bookkeeper. No disrespect to I'm an accountant. It was, you know, my fellow CPI, I know the same thing. Let me tell you, that does not build a next question. We call that a dating process. If you just said one thing to your first date, you never go anywhere. So we educate and train you on how to talk, how to present, how to pitch yourself, how to communicate to get the next stage of the meeting. So that's called a pitch. And most importantly, how to communicate in getting on the phone. I can remember as a young kid getting on the phone and talking to a prospect or a client was nerve-wracking. Let me tell you, you go through a simple process. Over a period of time, you become comfortable and confident. And I suppose I can feed that back to you, Michael. You've done some of the pitch and discovery and all that other training, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done that stuff. I think what takes the edge off is when you pick up the phone and you receive a lead, or when you, even if you just say, like, because even cold calls till today, like, they frighten me, but don't break it down that you're not getting the deal from that initial meeting. Something that Pete and Lloyd say all the time is the lead that comes in, the objective is to sell a meeting, not the service. So the whole objective is to just build rapport, build credibility, build a relationship, and just get them booked in for a sit down. Get them booked in for time where you can actually talk about, you know, what it is you do, where are they, where do they want to be, all that kind of stuff. And that when you look at it from that perspective, it definitely takes the edge and the pressure off and allows you to be more natural. And as a result, like your kind of lead to meeting rates in terms of that conversion from a lead to a meeting, it increases massively because
thanks, Mark. Just to add to that, we're in the trust business. Our clients, let's be realistic, our clients, in some cases, we have access to the bank account. We can do anything we want with that bank account. There's some, and to add to that, I'm talking about trust. What Gyms is a very trustworthy brand. That's what we get as a trust business, and we can enforce that as our personal. Let me tell you about some bad things. I've been following some recent cases, and it's very well known that all these cases that I've been reading are bookkeepers who are employees. Now, I might make that very clear. Employees of businesses. Very common. I had that several times in some of my accounting clients where they were helping themselves to the till. Some very serious ones and some very minor ones. Now, they're employees. No insurance, no protection can ever come back to that client. The big advantage as a bookkeeper, being with gyms, sure, all the TPD requirements. We do police checks. No other person does police checks as do individuals. We do personal checks. We get gyms checks with everything supported. I'm not saying past, future, or gyms bookkeepers will hopefully never be charged with fraud. I can't say that. Hopefully that will never happen. But the advantage to business owners is that employees are very well known as bookkeepers to touch the till. There's some huge cases out there. As a gyms bookkeeper, we've got all that security. So the trust is enormous. So to build the trust, you've got to go through those discovery call meetings and etc. I think the last thing we're pushing drastically these days in our group is live bookkeeping, live accountancy. To have efficiency, not only in your own business, walk before you talk, but to introduce live bookkeeping to your clients. And Michael mentioned some of those systems there, didn't you, Michael?
Yeah. So it's massive, having Xero with rules in place, having Receipt Bank or HubDoc integrated into the Xero file so that the document is automatically pushed through and marked against the bank payment. I suppose training clients that all their business transactions should come from that business bank account so that it's easy to match, just things like that, it saves you time.
It's efficiency. So you can concentrate. It's very, I'm not a great believer in charging on an hourly rate. Sure, there's certain processes to talk about hourly rates, but it's efficiency. Inefficiency if you're charging on an hourly rate, but efficiency if you're charging on a menu price. But you've got to have your own system sorted out first. And we have certain live bookkeeping 101, 102, 103, and you get to the stage where Michael's probably 108. We have a CRM attached and all those other processes. Paper becomes paperless, and that's a big push out in the accounting and software industry is have paperless. That's efficiency. How simple is it to take a picture of a receipt and load it up? And we teach our gyms franchisees, especially the cleaners and the lawnmowers, who run around and throw paper, paper receipts. I haven't even got any paper receipts to show you. We teach that live booking, but we also teach our bookkeepers that you need to do the walk before you do the talk. If you're not running your own live bookkeeping business, then it's pretty hard to teach other people. So our vision. We educate our bookkeepers to be brilliant bookkeepers. That means you're above average. That means you can charge more. That means you're more upskilled. That means you belong to a better community. But most importantly, vision, if you can't tick these boxes of caring, giving and sharing, you won't join gyms. And I believe we go through this process of what that actually means at our initial training. But you can imagine if our bookkeepers, like Michael here, is sharing an hour and a bit of his time here. We had a discussion yesterday about it. A couple of hours, probably 3 hours of his time. There's $500 or $600 of his time he's sharing, and they're getting no financial reward for it. He just wants to share his knowledge. But most importantly, our mission is to have fun, and we install fun every way along. I'm talking about a bit of fun. Here's our conference. We mentioned that a little bit more. There's some of our major sponsors. So our conference costs around $250 to attend. I've valued it at about $3,000. It's all the food, drink, entertainment, well, not too much drink.
There was a good spread this year.
Yep. And what about some of the food there we had? And that was in the Gold Coast. And it's all paid for by these sponsors.